My name is Dr. Madhura Nagchaudhary. I teach and I'm a trained social worker. I teach social work and my area of specialization is disability. So what I'm going to talk about today is when we think of disability, do we see it as a medical issue, or do we see it as a social issue, or do we see it as both? Because this is a debate that has been going on for a very long time. Like I had said previously, that there are many myths around disability and it has been frowned upon, or it has been seen in a very negative light for multiple reasons, primarily due to the religious traditions that exist and the belief systems that exist. So there are, as medicine progressed and as we went into things like the World War and with more sort of this kind of widespread wars, one of the things that happened as a result of, say, the World War was that many soldiers became disabled. Now, soldiers becoming disabled is a very old phenomenon, and it was viewed differently. But when when the World War happened, this happened on such a large scale and in so many parts of the world that people were forced to rethink about the whole idea of disability. Because earlier the person was a source of charity. You would find, for example, the term handicap. I know many people use this term when we talk about people with disability, but do you know where the word handicap comes from? It actually comes from cap in hand. So cap in hand, so in the past soldiers wore caps, okay? So when they became disabled, what they did was they took off their cap, held it in their hand and begged in the street. So that is how they made their living. But when soldiers became disabled on such a large scale, in the World War, people were forced to change their mind and forced to think about this, because these were people who had sacrificed for their country. These were people who had, gone out to war to save their nation and so-called save the world, so to speak. So how could you treat them the same way as you treated disability, people with disability in the past? So after that, many gradual changes started from there, and governments were forced to provide for this group of people much more than they had provided for in the past. In the past, they used a model of charity where they said, oh, these people are poor, they can't take care of themselves, and we will get... it was a way of, how should I say, पुण्य का काम कहते हैं ना, कि अगर आप विकलांग व्यक्ति को मदद करोगे तो आपको पुण्य मिलेगा, आप उनके लिए दान करोगे तो आपको पुण्य मिलेगा. तो people thought that we will, we will attain moksha, or we will do this through giving charity to people with disability. And this was there in many parts of the world. In India, of course, this was very much the case. Now, with all of these things happening, the governments got more involved, and then provisions for people with disability started, and after that, when we went into the civil rights movement that happened in the US, where they were fighting for the whole issues of race, separation by race, issues of women. So as that came along, people with disability also started a movement to talk about their rights. So in the past, early 1900s, as medical science improved, there was all this, medical professionals got very involved with had gotten very involved with persons with disability. And the idea was that there is an imperfection in the body. We must cure the imperfection to the best of our ability through medicine. And if we can't, then we have to reduce the imperfection as much as possible. But the goal was always to cure and remove the imperfection. And so, if you see today, there are a lot of professionals who are involved with people with disability. Some of them include, of course, there are doctors, but then there are physiotherapists, there are occupational therapists, there are audiologists, speech therapists, various others. So there is a huge sort of set of professionals who are involved in what is known as rehabilitation of people with disability. Now, over time, across the 1900s, what happened was the idea was to institutionalize people with disability. Institutionalization led to isolation, and the other was to cure the people with disability. But either case, the perception or the view was that disability is something that exists within the person. It is the individual's problem, and all these professionals' job is to help cure or solve this problem. But the person was the problem, but the person was never consulted. So the person almost became like an object, where the person with disability himself or herself never had a voice in things. So when the disability rights movement came about, their biggest slogan was nothing about us without us. So it is about the voice of the person with disability, including this term that I keep using again and again, person with disability. This is a term that was coined by what is known as the People First movement. And why do we use person with disability? It is because increasingly the disability rights movement said that the disability is not the problem. It is society that is the problem, because society fails to accommodate all kinds of people. They fail to accommodate diversity in people, which is why people with disability get isolated, which is why people with disability cannot be part of society. So, or are not allowed to be part of society. And more often than not, the medical profession and the professionals involved with people with disability have all the power, have all the authority, and most of the time they don't see the person, they see their disability. So you refer to the person as blind, deaf, as spastic, as whatever. It is pertaining to that limitation of functionality rather than about the person himself or herself. So therefore the idea was to say person comes first, so that person, and then the disability. So whatever that type of disability, it's person with hearing impairment, person with visual impairment, etc., etc. So there was a lot of this discussion that came. Within that, as an aside, I'll tell you that with people with hearing impairment, there is a whole other debate that came about, because they had their own movement where they said we are not disabled, we are deaf. According to them, deaf people have their own language, which is the sign language. The rest of the world refuses to learn their language. That is not their problem as deaf people. That is the rest of the world's problem, because they refuse to accept a linguistic minority in a sense. So there are many interesting things that came about as a result of the disability rights movement, which essentially said that they came up with what is known as the social model, which said that disability is the result of a social oppression and society is responsible, and disability is a social problem. People with disability would not have a problem if buildings were created keeping in mind that there are many different kinds of people. If other facilities and resources were created keeping in mind that there are many different kinds of people and people have differential needs. But because this doesn't happen, this is a way of society being oppressive, it is a way of society being exclusionary, and so disability is a social problem. So now what we are talking about, or what the UN has most recently come up with, which is the what is known as the ICF, or the International Classification of Functioning model. It talks in terms of functioning, that how are people able to function. The focus is on functioning, because the other debate that came about as a result of this whole, is it a social problem or a medical problem, was that even though yes, there is a social problem, but that doesn't take away from the fact that a person has an impairment. So you cannot forget about the impairment. The impairment is integral to the person, however they may be, whoever they may be. And so you can't completely forget about the impairment, and therefore this whole debate. But as of now, the International Classification of Functioning talks about the way a person is able to function, what kind of limitations they have to their functioning. Are they able to be part of activities? Are they able to participate in social, political, and economic life? And how are they affected by personal factors? How are they affected by environmental factors as individuals? And what is their body, the situation of their body structure and their body functioning? So it takes all of these together to understand how disability works.